Absolutely every single thing in the universe is a balanced, harmonious dance between positive and negative. This can not only be experienced via your external observations, but also your internal observations. You are a microcosm of the universe being the macrocosm. Many ancient texts and religions convey this, so today we're going to dive into the scientific evidence behind it, the esoteric evidence behind it, the religious evidence, and the psychological examples of this. So without further ado, let's go. So essentially, you've got positive, negative, hot, cold, electromagnetic, anode, cathode, antimatter and matter, and obviously you've got molecular polarity as well, which is one of the biggest ones, atomic polarity also. These are all scientific examples of the micro and macrocosms where you observe the small and the same exact pattern repeats on the large. This is the most fundamental law in the universe and cannot be ignored. Hot cannot exist without cold, nor being without non-being. I will now continue into spiritual and religious examples of this. Yin, Yang, Shiva, Shakti, creation, destruction, good, evil, lead and gold. Hyros Gamos means pretty much divine marriage in Greek as well, which is another concept which I'll dive into in another video, which is an entire another video. I'll get into that another time. But anyways, everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. So I'll repeat that. Everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Now, what does this mean? Hot and cold are both different representations of the same thing. It's a different level of temperature on the same spectrum. So, for example, hate is extreme negative attachment, whereas love is extreme positive attachment. Courage expands and fear retracts. So essentially we can deduce a few key points from this. Neutrality must lie between both, or there must be a neutrality existing somewhere on the scale. Total equals negative, positive and neutral, so you've got three there, which is the neutral we've not yet discussed yet, but we'll get into that. Everything you observe relies on this law, meaning your inner world implies your outer world, because the universe will always try to balance your energy output with your energy input. So, for example, a fridge balances thermal energy to lower the temperature of a can, obviously, or whatever you want to put in the fridge. Every force has an equal opposite. This is Isaac Newton's third law of motion. In the entire universe is mental. This is one of the laws of the Kabbalion, one of the Hermetic laws. So your outer reality is a direct manifestation of your internal reality. Therefore, changing your internal through mental images, which are your blueprints, emotions, which is your energy emotion or fuel for these blueprints, actions, which equal physical science for what you're doing, or what's going through your brain, what's on the internal. Belief systems affect emotions, so whatever you're believing is your whatever your beliefs are is your constant emotional state as well. It's not just about the fuel that you put into it, it's about what you're always burning on your fire, if you get what I'm saying by that. If you're burning wet wood, then you're burning wet wood. So if you balance your emotions and visualize and you believe in it, and then you let go, it appears in your reality immediately when you vibrate to perceive this. What I mean by this is whatever you want manifests pretty much immediately, or the route to getting what you want manifests immediately. You just have to be on the level of consciousness to perceive that. If you always think you're doing bad, you're not going to be able to manifest becoming rich, because you don't see the same opportunities as your brain would, if you get what I'm saying by that. So yeah, you've got to change how you perceive your environment. You're always manifesting just like you breathe, due to polarity being consistent. So it's not that you magically learn how to manifest, it's that you always are manifesting, even the bad things. You just have to be consciously aware of the fundamental laws and principles that dictate this. Many ancient cultures and traditions emphasize this. It is referred to as esoteric knowledge or inner knowledge. So today I intend to provide you with this information, not only the information to understand it, but implement it in your own reality, or begin to implement it. I'll put the rest in my other videos so you've got something to watch. So pretty much I formed this understanding via rigorous cross-analysis of religious texts and scientific ideas and theories, which all seem to link together. So the first of these that I want to show you are the 7 Hermetic principles. So you might be familiar with these, but the first one is mentalism. All is mind. The universe is mental, consciousness is and creates reality. So that's why maths cannot describe consciousness, is because consciousness created maths. Correspondence, as above, so below. Patterns are consistent on all levels of reality, which is that different in degree but same in nature sort of thing. Vibration, this is a principle of vibration. Everything is always moving or vibrating, absolutely everything. 4 is polarity. All opposites are the same in nature, different in degree. 5 is rhythm. Everything flows in and out. Cycles govern all of existence. 6, cause and effect. Nothing is by chance. Everything has cause. 7, gender. Everything has masculine and feminine qualities. Balance is required. Now, all of these, or most of these, echo correspondence. Now, the opposite to this structure is non-form. So the opposite to these laws, the strict laws that apply to humans, is a consciousness outside of it all, which is the same one that's responsible for creating this reality. It's called Source, and it's pretty much the referee of the game. If you're doing bad shit, but like you don't realize it, it will let you off. Like, it's not like you fucking done this, you've got to suffer. It's like, if you're a fucking chill guy, it's got a brain. It's not stupid. You know what I mean? It literally created the universe, so it shows you something. You must ask to receive things as well. So you can ask this shit, whatever it is. You can ask it for whatever you want in your life, and as long as you got good intentions behind it, it'll fucking get. Well, I don't know about bad intentions, 'cause I've never tried, but good intentions, it'll certainly give you. And you've got to remember, whatever intentions that you put out, you'll get back onto you. Whatever energy you put out, you'll get back onto you. Just keep that in mind as well. This consciousness is how it goes by a couple of names. Some call it the Tao, some call it Source, some call it the Creator, some call it Monad, some call it consciousness, some call it Spirit, some call it fucking anything. But Jesus says the kingdom of God is within you, and this cannot be more than true, because God exists within everything, including you, and you are a fragment of this eternal consciousness, God. So pretty much, and the silence of the mind exists this all. These are polars but the same, because in silence you get non-silence, in nothing you get everything, in the all is God. These are two flips of each other, but the same, different in degree, same in nature. Some call it the silent witness, and some call it the observer, but it is essentially the thing that is behind your eyes, observing what is going on without any judgment. So you look at trees and shit and you think tree, but you don't even take that into granted. Like, it's the nothingness inside of you. It's the eternal witness, like the silent person behind your eyes. So pretty much you are the silent observer. You are the one behind your thoughts. Your soul is a fragment of God. Your Atman is a fragment of the Brahman and are not separate. This is what Buddhism says. Your eternal self and the eternal are not separate. They are like each other. So Christianity says children of God. So you are a child of God. You are a descendant of God. You are on this earth to create. And it also says, so Jesus says, before Moses, I am. And God says to Moses, I am. So essentially, this is Jesus not only saying you are God, but, well, you'll remember before, the kingdom of God is within you. Jesus also says, this I am presence that he is talking about, and the one that God says to Moses is God. It's neutrality between positive and negative. It's that silent observer inside of you, essentially. The Tao that can't be named is not the eternal Tao. Now, this is pretty much describing that you cannot describe the infinite God, the I am presence, in finite terms. So this is the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu's way of describing this. Now, he says another thing. He says, and another very interesting thing, the Tao becomes one, becomes two, becomes three, and from three begat the 10,000 things. So, essentially, the Tao is positive, negative, and neutral. It exists within the neutral, which is closest to it, which is the one. The two is feminine, which is the womb for three, which is masculine. And from positive, negative, and neutral begat the 10,000 things, which is what you observe in front of you. The 10,000 things is an ancient Chinese term of describing what seems to be infinite to the finite limits of the mind, which is the universe. Everything in this universe seems infinite to us because there's so much of it, but to God, that is God, if you get what I'm saying by that. So it is only like that to our limited perception. So Stephen Hawking says if general relativity is correct, space and time must have a singularity, which is the Big Bang. Obviously, everyone's heard about that. So Ein Sof, which is a Jewish mysticism like concept, is pretty much the start of the universe, and it contracts and expands itself, creating the entire universe. Which is interesting when you see that Neil deGrasse Tyson in an interview states that the main theory at the minute for how the Big Bang was created is that one particle at the start of the universe collapsed and expanded, and from the energy created everything, which is just crazy. Because ancient religions, more examples have been in future videos, but ancient religions have said this for thousands of years, and science is only now catching up with religions. Why, in the future of this video, I'll show you some ancient geometrical patterns that aliens have definitely left on this planet for us to be able to figure out, which is the blueprint for everything. So the fabric of this source is woven into the entirety of reality because everything came from it. So everything is an extension of it. So everything exists in a constant state of the same energy. Every single thing that you see in the room right now, everything in front of you is the exact same energy represented at different vibrational frequencies. So this includes atoms, thoughts, emotions, objects, light, and color. So which are the same, by the way. I don't mean to sound like an idiot. All operating on the same scale of reality, which is your scalar, and your reality is your specific arrangement of frequencies within this like sort of plane. So in physics, everything exists within like a field of polarity, a cloud of infinite possibilities. So when you're not observing something, it exists within all states at the same time. So pretty much this is the all that exists within everything, and how it changes like with time and observation. Hence the double slit experiment, where the laws of physics are altered according to human observation, which is your inner creating your outer, which is backed by delayed choice quantum eraser experiment, which pretty much observed it after it passed through the slit, and the exact same thing happened. So it's like not. It is definitely human observation that changes this. Quantum entanglement is pretty much the marriage of two particles at opposite sides of the universe. If you spin one, they will spin at the same time with no time delay, which is coming back to polarity, innit? So, and you've also got the saying mind over matter, because your mind controls this material realm, and this is why you see celebrities putting the moon over their head, because it symbolises emotions over you. You've got to have power over your emotions to create your environment. Anyways, so Nikola Tesla refers to an ether along with everyone else ever, just in their own terms. So like ether is the fifth element. The Vedics call it akasha, and the Chinese call it ki, but it's the energy that makes up everything. These are all describing like the molecular law of vibration. If you can harness the movement of particles, you can draw power from what appears to be nothing or still, but it's like got infinite energy, because everything is always moving, everything is always vibrating at different frequencies. Do you get what I'm saying about that? So everything is perfectly imperfect to pretty much create what you see today, or is not perfect according to our limited perception. Anyway, so every atom is an energy pattern. These patterns can all be represented with shapes, hydrogen being the most simple shape. The flower of life is a 6,000-year-old symbol burnt into the temple of Osiris, like molecularly burnt into the temple of Osiris as well. It's no fucking joke. You can search that up. This is 6,000 years old, and it's also under the foot of an ancient dog called the Fu dog in China. But this exists within a 3D lattice, which is how I reckon that it was meant to be perceived, and the only reason why they described it in 2D is because it's easier to preserve in 2D, if you get what I'm saying. So when you expand this into a 3D lattice, it contains the representation of every pattern of atoms, so every single shape that can be represented. So hydrogen's the most simple shape, being the middle, and the further you get out, the more complex the atoms are, depending upon the structure. Now you've got to remember the symbol's 6,000 years old, and when you expand it into a 3D lattice, it is the building blocks of every atom. So not only that, but you can discover new atoms with this. So I would have already put a pop-up on the screen of this so you can see what it looks like, but I'm sure there's a website. I'll leave it in the bio so you can go and experiment with this and you can slot the different elements in and shit. But this is like a big theory from Terence Howard, by the way. I'm just connecting all the dots. So essentially, the flower of life has been like studied by people all throughout history. Leonardo da Vinci, Pythagoras, and Isaac Newton. It said the person that understands it would unlock the keys to the entire universe. And there's many more sacred things, like not only this, but there's also many different things that can be found within it. So we'll go on to them first. So pretty much within this flower of life, you can find the 5 platonic solids which stem from Metatron's cube. So Plato found these. Metatron's cube is in the flower of life. So if you connect 13 of the inner circles, if you draw a line between every single one of them, connecting them all up, that's how you create Metatron's cube. I'll show you what Metatron's cube is. It would have already been up on the screen. 144 is the number that you'll find inside of this. Now there's 90 petals in 54 spaces, so this equals 144, which is a very, very, very significant number in sacred geometry, if you know your sacred geometry. If not, I'll get onto that in another video. But anyways, Metatron's cube is hidden within the flower of life, and it forms the 5 platonic solids, which are the building blocks of the universe. The 5 elements, the 5 platonic solids, these are directly connected. So these are the building blocks that the universe created to create what we see now. So when expanded into this 3D form, it forms a Merkaba. Mer equals light, Ka equals spirit, and Ba equals body. Light, spirit, body, or chariot of light, vehicle of ascension. This is how your energy is structured when you are in alignment, or the Tau. Also a 3D Star of David, or hexagon, which is important because hexagons are the most efficient method to distribute energy across a surface, proved by the honeycomb conjecture in 1999, and bees before humans ever did, snowflakes before humans ever did, and Saturn and lava cracks before humans ever did. So when you reach alignment, or you're in the middle of polarity where God exists, pretty much this lattice, this 3D Metatron's cube, surrounds you because it represents a perfect output and input of energy. You're balanced. It represents a perfect harmony of energy around you. So this light vehicle allows your inner observer and soul, your eternal self, to travel interdimensionally via space and time, as well, giving you inherent access to spiritual abilities, spiritual dissonance, dream recall, out-of-body experiences, cosmic wisdom, clairsentience. Sorry, I've got a big list here that I'm trying to read from, and I don't like to read from scripts, to be honest with you, as you can probably tell in this video. I stutter quite a lot and shit, but I have to write things down sometimes because I chat so much shit that I'll just end up talking forever. So pretty much the Star of David is like, the Star of David's the 2D representation of this as well, and you'll notice that it all adds up to 6 and shit. Yeah. And so the Merkaba is important because this is one of your main spiritual abilities. When you balance yourself and become a good person, God gives you these abilities. When you finally, it's not like become a good person, but when you embody balance and harmony, then you get this chariot of light around you, and you can do whatever your soul chooses to please with it. You can go and meet whoever you want because these are all extensions of your imagination and the imagination of the eternal all, which is why you can go anywhere because everything that you can ever imagine already exists. So it has multiple benefits: increased synchronicities, emotional stability, energy protection, astral travel, inner guidance, physical alignment, and reality bending. So I'll discuss these topics in further videos.